The Gospel of Mark is probably my favorite gospel. It's so fast-paced and it gives us really good insight into Jesus, his power, his character, and his teaching. And there's an incident in the 6th chapter of Mark that reminds me of how I often respond to difficulty in my life. And the disciples and Jesus had just experienced the feeding of the 5,000. Now Jesus sent the disciples across the water ahead of him, and they're out on the sea, and it's getting dark, and Jesus comes walking by. The idea we get from the text is that he was going to cross over just by walking on the water. But they see him out there on the water, and they think it's a ghost, and so they begin to be afraid. It says, when they saw him walking on the sea, they supposed that it was a ghost and cried out, for they all saw him and were terrified. But immediately he spoke with them and said to them, "Take courage, it is I, do not be afraid." Then he got into the boat with them, and the wind stopped, and they were utterly astonished. And then there is this commentary, which I think could often be put on my life. Mark writes, "For they had not gained any insight from the incident of the loaves, but their minds were closed." And I think we see there, or at least I do, a picture of myself. You know, from the beginning, the disciples had witnessed what Jesus could do. They saw him heal Peter's mother-in-law. They saw him heal crowds of people. They saw him heal a man of leprosy. They saw the paralytic man who was lowered through the roof, and Jesus allowing him to get up and walk. They saw the sea stilled in that other incident. They saw the woman who touched his robe, and Jesus said, "Who touched me?" even in the midst of this crowd. They saw Jairus' daughter raised from the dead, and then most recently, in fact, that very day, they had seen Jesus feed 5,000, and yet they had not gained any insight. And my prayer for myself and for us is that as we go through difficult times, that we would look back at what Jesus has done as we see it in his word, that we would remember the things that he has done for us, and that we wouldn't have a closed mind, that we will have gained insight, and that we will be able to put our trust in a God who does all things well.